anyone that in my family that is employed by the borough. But it's a basic difference. Republican, Democrat. I mean, and although Todd has said that he doesn't want he wants taxes to stay low. I mean, I do too. I mean, as far as finances are concerned, I'm conservative. I gotta pay a mortgage. I gotta maintain things as well. So I'm learning. I'm going with taxes as well. But as far as the difference, I guess some of the activities that I'm involved in, with the recreation department, I worked very closely there for years, from high school on. It's a passion of mine that I've been involved with for a long time as a coach, as a coordinator, as a player in the softball leagues, and I'm involved in the Rutherford High School Hall of Fame Committee. I've worked as a volunteer at the high school as well. So as far as my Rutherford resume, those are the things that I brought to the table.
I want to make sure everyone in line gets a chance for their questions. So let's let this gentleman go ahead.
I have to use the bathroom.
My name is Steve Barron, and Todd, it's nice to see that you're human too. It's been noted tonight that there are a lot of agreements between the two of you. While it's good to see in a political campaign there is a D after one of your names and an R after the other. My previous two questioners have asked you for specific ways to differentiate yourself, because people out here are going to be voting for one of you, put you up in the dais behind you in about 2 weeks. So I would like each of you to give us a specific way in which you will reduce spending. You both said you read the budget last year. We all know that there are only two ways when presented with a budget shortfall to fix the problem. You increase revenue or you reduce spending. We are revenue challenged at Rutherford. We'll realize that. How are you each going to reduce spending? And please try to differentiate yourself.
Well, this is an R and a D, and we have good Democrats in this audience. But when the ex-mayor, the ex-mayor, Bartone was the mayor, we had a 1.4 surplus in our budget. We elected a Democrat, Bernadette McPherson. We had a 31% tax increase. We put the debt on this town that we cannot afford. We bonded, which, the difference between me is that I would never do anything like that. I would never put that debt on the town. I would never raise the taxes 31%. I am going to look at every department, like I said, and try to get money, for this town. I mean, Trenton, they're cutting our state aid. When you apply for grants, you got to know which grants to apply for, because it's an ongoing thing. You could apply for a grant, and you have to maintain it for 5 years, and maybe another 4 years you don't get any money. But now we have a mayor and a council right now that are working very hard. And its majority is Republican. And when they got into office, it was 18-point-something million that they owed, and now they're down to 16.4. And I think that you have to give a hand to these council people that are working very hard, and this mayor is working very hard, like or dislike. And that's why I'm a Republican. That's the difference. I don't have any friends on the payroll, and I will make a wise decision what's good for everybody.
I think one way of helping reduce some of that debt bank account has about $700,000, what we learned in one of the more recent council meetings. So that could be one way of helping reduce some of that debt, unless it's determined by the rest of the governing body that it can be used in different ways. But I think that's one way, one easy way to get rid of the bonding, or to help relieve some of the bonding debt. But bonding, and maybe we're different on this. I'm not sure if Todd has said we cannot bond at all. I would not say that we cannot bond at all. There's going to always be a need maybe down the line to improve something, and whether it's something that we want or something that we need. If we need something, which as of right now, I don't think there's anything imminent that would require us going to bonding, but sometimes these things have to be done. And I'm not saying that I'm one for trying to add to our debt services, but that cannot be ruled out. So that would be.
I'd just like to say one thing. I'm against bonding 100%. But if you were going to bond, say, for a recycling plant, and we were going to make money off that plant, that would offset that money, like a business. It's like an investment. If you invest $500,000 and you're getting $1 million back, then it's a business deal. And that's the only way that I would bond, if it would make a profit for the borough relative.
Let's take the next question from the floor.
Hello, my name is Susan Jameson. I've been a Rutherford resident since 1994. And I just wanted to ask that, first I had heard Mr. Parnofiello's background a little bit, but when you mentioned some of the things that you did when you worked in the county, as far as answering people's questions and directing residents to services and drafting legislation, well, that's what drafting legislation is the experience they have in Washington, unfortunately. I'm wondering what experience you have with regards to managing a budget and a staff, business-oriented, to help direct this town.
Well, as far as handling budgets, that obviously was not a role that I played as far as the county is concerned. But in my new capacity, I will be dealing with doing presentations and things of that nature to help promote my business. So I'll kind of be going along with that, pick up as I go along. And I'm not sure what was the second part, the budget and
what your budgetary experience is, and
right.
how you can find that you get to bring it to the council.
right. Well, I think
drafting legislation is not necessarily going to be of a
that's not a budget, right? Exactly. But that's why I proposed that we examine the budget on a line-by-line basis and meet with each department, because as elected officials, nobody comes in with all the knowledge and just hits the ground running. I mean, there is a little bit of a learning curve, and I'm not going to deny that, which also brings me to the point that I made earlier about hiring an experienced and nonpartisan business borough administrator, because that's really the biggest role here, is that we need to hire a borough administrator. We need to make sure that our day-to-day operation is run properly, because as elected officials, our job is not to run the town. Our job is to provide ideas and bring them forth